and welcome to the interview. Can you start by briefly introducing yourself?
Hello, my name is Simone. This is my 4th year at McGill. I'm a civil engineering student, and yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about your high school background, maybe?
I grew up in Quebec, so I went to a French public school in the West Island. I did advanced math, so I took math TS, and I took physics and chemistry, which led me to Vanier College, where I took pure and applied sciences, which kind of increased my interest in engineering, and that's how I got into McGill.
Can you briefly describe the structure of civil engineering at McGill?
Right, so civil engineering is a 3.5-year degree if you're from Quebec. I believe if you're international, it's 4. I took an extra semester, which is why I'm doing it in 4 semesters. Basically, first year classes, pretty generic. You're doing it with kind of all engineering majors. So Calculus 1, I took statics, so that's really with mining and civil students, and some other random courses like Math 263, which I think is ordinary differential equations. Then you do more concentrated civil engineering classes in your 2nd and 3rd year. And then in your 4th year, well, in my 4th year, you're kind of expected to choose a specialization. You don't have to, but it's encouraged. So the specializations are structural, water resources, environmental, transportation, and I feel like I'm forgetting one, so sorry.
No worries.
So yeah, those are the specializations. I'm currently kind of specializing in like water resources and structural. That's kind of what the structure in civil is.
Can you name one thing you like and one thing you dislike about your major?
Okay, one thing I like about my major is probably the project-based classes. So it kind of prepares you for like real-world simulations, especially in civil engineering. You're expected to be able to work in groups. You're expected to have really good communication skills because not all civil engineering is construction, but the big majority is. So if you're able to communicate with other people, you're able to problem solve, you're able to kind of troubleshoot. That's kind of what these project-based classes teach you. One thing I disliked about civil engineering is like all the classes that are kind of not necessary. So like, for example, I had to take Math 264, which is Calculus 4. I didn't even know there was a 4th calculus, but here I am. So I never used Calculus 4 outside of Calculus 4 and some other classes also, but I think they're reviewing the program to remove some quote-unquote useless classes, but that's really one of the things that I dislike. I also really don't like that we don't have co-op programs here. I feel like that would help us a lot in terms of like getting an internship, I feel, because at McGill, you're kind of left by yourself to kind of figure out how to do all that. I don't really like that we don't have co-op programs. I think the only engineering degrees here that have co-op programs are mining and software. But yeah, I think it would be really beneficial for people in civil engineering to get degrees. Yeah.
If you can describe it, how is the homework that you have? Like typically what kind of homework do you have?
The homework that we have, well, the homework that I have right now is pretty heavy. Not all teachers give assignments every single week, but the vast majority do. Right now I have classes that have assignments every single week, and on top of that, a project that you have to submit at the end of the semester. But some classes give you assignments every other week or so, but if you're coming into engineering, I feel like you kind of have to know that you have a lot of work that you're gonna have to do, so.
Can you give one piece of advice to a prospective student in your major?
I feel like you should come prepared to work. Like, civil engineering, at least for me, was a lot of work. You don't have to show up to class, I'm not gonna lie to you, but like, you need to be able to put in that work. You know, you need to know how to look for resources if you need them. You need to be able to figure out problems on your own, especially if you don't go to class. So that's one piece of advice I would give a prospective student.
Do you find it hard to balance school and your social life?
Not really. I've been here for 4 years, right? So you kind of learn how to manage your time, but I never really had an issue. Like, I've never found myself canceling plans because I have a project or something, so I think that's...
Okay, that's great. What do you plan on doing after this degree? Do you want to continue in the same direction or not?
After this degree, I need a job. I'm trying to get a job. I'm trying to get a job, obviously, in engineering because I did not do 4 years for nothing. Okay. But yeah, so I'm looking for jobs in engineering right now. Would I come back for a master's? perhaps if my job pays for it and if I'm like required to. Maybe an MBA, but like right now, after, I'm really looking for a job, yeah.
So why did you choose this program and why did you choose McGill?
So I chose civil engineering because I was really, really good at mechanics when I was in college. And I figured that civil engineering is where I would apply mechanics the most. Also, caveat, you guys will have to do dynamics. I don't know why, but we do have to deal with things that move, apparently. So get ready for that. But I was really good at mechanics and statics, so I thought I would be really good in engineering, civil engineering. I chose McGill because it was one of the best schools in North America, so I figured that if I can get the best education, why not? And yeah, that's why I went to McGill.
Was it hard for you to adjust to university life and your classes?
For me personally, it wasn't hard. I think because in Quebec, right after high school, you go to CEGEP, so you kind of learn how to adjust to the workload and your time by yourself in CEGEP. So going from CEGEP to university wasn't really hard for me. I kind of already knew the ropes.
How, if you can describe it, how is the overall vibe in your classes?
At least in my cohort, so the 2026 cohort, we have our own groups and they kind of really established when we started civil engineering. So I have my own group of friends, other people have their own group of friends. I think the CUS, so that's the student body of the civil engineers, basically. Like they have their own group, like they're all friends with each other. So that's kind of the vibe in the class. When you start choosing your specialties, that's when your friend group kind of divides and you're kind of going to find yourself alone in some of those classes if you choose to specialize in something that your friends don't want to specialize in. But that's kind of the vibe in the class. Especially my first year, I kind of fooled around in class with my friends that I made. So I enjoyed the vibe, I guess. But just know that in civil, because it's kind of a bigger program, I know that in mining, it's a really, really small program. Yeah. So they're all really friends with each other, but it's not like that in civil. You kind of have your own kind of cliques. I don't want to say cliques, but you have your own kind of groups that you kind of hang out with for the rest of your 4 years. So, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you so much for your input. That's it for the interview.
Yeah.